I'm Dr. George Flynn, and today on In-Depth TV, we're going to teach a skill. And you may already know a little bit about this skill, but then again, you may not. So stay tuned because this will be a lot of fun for you. We're going to talk about information, the information that is there. It's out in the universe. It's all around us, more and more information every day. You know, we're in the information age where information is vital. Information is so important. We pay for information. We use online, offline. We use radio, TV, newspaper, magazine, Google, Instagram, Facebook. We use everything. All of this information is coming to us, coming at us. And what do? We sit there and try to consume it all. But what gets lost? A lot of the old-time, tried and true things get lost, such as reading books without a date on them, reading books, I'm talking about soft cover, hardcover books, talking about physical books. And now we have the Nook and the Kindle reader and the online readers and the offline, all kind of stuff that you read on a computer screen. But what about just holding a book and reading it? What about just reading a book? Now, I brought a book in, just, it's a soft cover book, and I brought one in, and it's got pages, and you can hold it, and you can turn the page, and you can stop, and you can think about it, and you can underline it, and you can do all kind of things. But reading has become a little bit, as they say, passé. Reading is so important because your knowledge is there, and you're not distracted all the time. Or are you? Do you try to read and watch TV at the same time, or sit online at the same time? I'm talking about a physical book. And what is the deal with reading? Why do we read so slowly? Other people can read very, very fast. What is it about us that we read slowly? Most people read about 200 words a minute, maybe 250. And why is that? When we were growing up, when we were learning how to read, they would get us and they would say, read out loud. And we'd get up here and we'd pull up our book and we'd start reading out loud and read the sentence and read this. And we were reading out loud. We knew where the commas were and where the periods were. And we would read and say the words. Now when you read, since you've been taught that way, don't you say the words as you read. Some people move their lips and say the words, and they don't vocalize it, but they move their lips and they hear the words in their head. That is the one key for speed reading. If you want to speed up, you want to read a book in 2 or 3 days, or 1 day, or a week, well, how do you do that? How do you speed up your reading? This is the only part that takes real practice, and it's called subvocalization. When we read something, we will read it. We'll read it in our head, and we'll see the words one word at a time, and we will say those words in our head. You do it, I do it, we all do it. And that's the reason we can read at about 250 words a minute, because that's how fast we can talk. Some people talk slower, and they can only read at the speed that they can talk. That's why we have a little bit of a challenge. People don't like reading books so much because it takes them too long. There is a process of subvocalization that we would like to get around. And the key to getting around subvocalization, or just reading and seeing the words and understanding them without saying them, can be seen in the fact that we pull up to a stop sign, you know, the octagonal red stop sign, and we see the word stop. Now, do you say stop in your head, or do you just look up there and see the word and all you know to stop? Well, most people don't say the word stop in their head. That's called, you know, just processing visually the word. You can do this because you can see the words, and you don't have to say the words to understand the words. Just like stop and yield and all the traffic signs that we see out there. It's not that hard. It does take practice, but it's not that hard. So if you will practice getting a book and just looking at the words and realizing you're not going to say the word in your head. It might seem strange in the beginning, but once you do it a little while, and you'll slip, you'll go back to reading, you'll say, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be saying those words. You will all of a sudden speed up your reading. Now, there are other ways that you can speed up your reading and speed up your comprehension also. This is, now I'm going to show you a trick that it's called a pacer. And the pacer is something that you can use, and it's basically a card or a piece of paper. And you put it in the book, and you, as you read the book, you move it down the page. I would give you a few hints on the pacer. And the last one is the most important. Here is a card, and it has some data on it. It has some phone numbers on it, and it has all kind of stuff on it. Don't use this, because you will constantly see the writing on the card. You want just a regular card with no writing on it so that it doesn't distract you. Here's another one. This is yellow. This is the back of a slip that we use at the Flynn Clinic. It's an excuse slip, but it's yellow. So we're not going to use that because of the color. Use white. Use white or some other color that is not bright. You can use a light green if you really want to, or you can use a black card, but I've got a white piece of paper. It's on the back of a notepad. And notice I don't use the front of it, I use the back of it because it's pure white. And and I know you've seen this demonstration before, and I've got a book, Think and Grow Rich. You know, most of you have seen the book or read it 3 or 4 times. But you put the pacer on here, and most of you say, well, you'd read it down like this. No. This is where the big surprise is. If you read it like this, coming down the page like this, you have the chance to look back at what you just read. Have you ever gotten to the end of a page and said, what did I just read? And this way, you always know you can go back up and read it again. The pacer should go at the top. And as you read, it comes down the page, and then as it comes down the page, you can't go back up and read, and you know this. So you're taking mental notes, and you're going to think about it more. So that is the big trick, is taking your pacer and coming down the page with a white piece of paper, or a light green maybe, or yellow just bothers me. So I would not use that. But you can use any piece of paper that you like, preferably no writing on it, and just come down the page like this as you read, and your comprehension will go up. You'll know that you can't go back to the top. And you come down as rapidly as you can, and that keeps you're going so fast you can't say the words in your head. And this will help you break that habit of subvocalization. So there we've got it. We're talking about speed reading. There's using the pacer or gliding down, just making sure that you can go as fast as you're comfortable. You'll probably double your speed right away, and that's okay. I would like to see you triple or 4 times your speed. I once saw a guy in a college class, and he was sitting, it was before the class started, he was sitting there, and he would do this, he would do that, he would do this. And I looked at him and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm reading." I said, you can't be reading that fast." He would do this and keep on going. He said, "Oh yeah, I do this all the time. I read a book a day." And I was amazed at this, and ever since then, I've had this curiosity as to how people could speed read like this. Now you know the trick, or the tips. They're not a trick. You have been able to do this all along. So you will get a book, and here's the trick to reading a book. You will get a book, and you will read, you'll look at the front and the back of the book, and you'll read the front cover and the back cover, and you will know generally what the book's about. And then you will turn in the book, and you will turn past all of the things, and you will go to the table of contents. And the table of contents, you'll read over the table of contents, and you'll say, "Oh, well, this is what's going to be, this chapter will be interesting, and this will be interesting," and you'll know what's coming. Then you skim the book. And by skimming the book, you just go through it, and you spend about 10 seconds a page. You just skim the book, and you look at 10 seconds a page, and you just keep going through the book, 10 seconds a page. And then you will come back and you will read the book about 30 seconds a page. By the time you've done this, you know what's on the front and back covers. That usually tells you a summary of the book. You'll know something about the table of contents, what's in the book. And you'll also have skimmed the book. You'll know generally what's in the chapters. Then you'll come back and spend about 30 seconds on each page. As you're going down the page, remember, you're going to use this. You're just going to come down the page, and you're going to top to bottom, where this covers up what you've just read. It doesn't cover up what you're going to read. It covers up what you've just read. And you can see in this one, I outlined some things, and I put some marks in it. When you read the way I'm talking about, you will not have to do that anymore. You will know what's in the book. So I hope this has been a real help to you. I want you to be able to read. I want you to be able to read books. I want you to teach your kids to read books this way. I want you to teach your grandkids to read books this way, because you will speed read. You'll be able to go through book after book and get what's in it, and get what's, it doesn't make any difference if you have read the book and checked the box and really don't know what you got out of the book. It makes a difference what you take away, what goes into you, into your head, into your heart, what's in that book, the story. So this is a good way of doing it. Try it out. Try it out. I think it'll increase your enjoyment of books. And you don't have to do it with a highlighter. You don't have to do it with just a piece of paper and your plan, front and back of the book, table of contents, and then we're going to skim the book with 10 seconds a page, then we're going to go at 30 seconds a page, and you will be a speed reader. You'll probably be reading 3 to 4 times faster than when you started. I'm George Flynn.